Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to it's episode 6. I think. Episode 6 of Self CAV. I'm not alone as usual. I'm with the lovely Miss Cosmo.
Hey, what's up?
What color is that? Is it red? Is it maroon? Burgundy?
This is red. This is burgundy. This is red.
I like those shades, eh?
Thank you.
Where did you get those?
These are actually aero glasses by DJ Zintle.
Oh.
But they're like one of the first batch of glasses that she released in like her first phase of sunglasses.
You know how to take care of things.
Exclusive. Nyama.
That's so proper.
But I take care of things because I don't wear them that often. I have to wear them specifically on days when I want to look cool.
Yeah, like
and
today.
Today is a day where I didn't want to wear makeup, so I'm wearing the glasses.
Okay.
You know, so I gotta at least offset the makeup with something cool. So here you go.
Yeah, but you're good.
I'm alright. And yourself?
Awesome. I think I'm coming down with something, but I rebuke it.
Hey.
Because I was emceeing over the weekend.
Okay.
And at some point, it was raining.
The weather's been weird, man. Like,
yeah.
Global warming is definitely coming quick, fast, in a hurry.
It really is.
Yeah.
So it was raining and we were dancing in the rain. Yeah.
That's wild. I was also in the rain.
Yes, I saw.
But I was in the rain in the ocean. So I'm allowed to be wet because I was actually trying to swim.
It makes a difference.
No, I was actually making a choice to swim. You were fully clothed and then deciding to be in the rain. That doesn't make sense.
You know what? There were ladies there, like those old ladies who dance at weddings and sing, etc.
Yeah.
And they were dancing. And I thought it to be so cool.
Yeah.
And I joined. Right.
It's nice until it's not.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm good. I think I'll just take something later on before I go to bed. Mm-hmm. I saw something on your Instagram story, and I found that to be interesting, right? I want to ask you about it. It's about Cain and Abel.
Yes.
Let me just look for it real quick. It says, it says that Cain killed his brother and still did not become the accepted one. Mm-hmm. Pulling people down will never raise you up.
Yes.
What's up with that?
Oh, man, you know, when you're in spaces that we are in, obviously, it's always a case of fighting to be the best or fighting to be recognized or fighting to be at the top or whatever the case may be. So for me, I've encountered quite a lot of people who I felt have been very underhanded to try and get themselves to either get the job or to put themselves ahead of others or whatever.
Yeah.
And I really feel like the pie is big enough for everybody. So this thing of trying to pull each other down as opposed to building each other is not getting you anywhere.
Yeah.
Just because you want to pull me down does not mean that that job was destined for you. Sometimes things are destined for the person that they are assigned to.
Yeah.
And if they're assigned to me, they will always be for me. If you do get it by default because you've pulled me down, you're not going to shine as much as I would have shined if I got it. So what's the point? Rather, we can just share the pie and everybody win at the end of the day. You're more likely to shine that way as opposed to shining by yourself.
Is the pie bigger though?
I actually think it is. I think the pie is definitely big enough. It's just that people are selfish and they don't know how to share it. You know, I say this confidently because there's many a time where I've seen, for instance, in the eventing space, people will say, if this event is happening, then everything else is going to suffer. Yeah. And then I've been in at a time, I think maybe it was like December 16 last year or something, where there was possibly 5 events happening all on the same day. And all of them were massively attended. All of them were well attended. Everybody made a killing on that day. And you sit back and you're just like, you see, the pie is big enough for everybody. There is a audience for everybody who is providing a specific niche market or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? You don't necessarily have to sit back and be like, just because this person is hosting an event and that one is going to suffer. Yeah. No, there's different people for different things. So that's what I mean by that, is that trying to pull each other down and trying to badmouth other people and it's not really going to work in your favor in the long run. I'm not saying that those people won't somewhat benefit. Maybe they'll benefit a little bit, but it won't be as much as they thought they would get out of it. And I think working together, we can grow together, we can shine a little bit more.
Yeah. I want to read you a story. It's in Mark chapter 5. It speaks to that. So it's Mark chapter 5, verses 21 to, whenever I stop. It says, when Jesus had again crossed over by boat to the other side of the lake, a large crowd gathered around him while he was by the lake. Then one of the synagogue leaders named Jairus came, and when he saw Jesus, he fell at his feet. He pleaded earnestly with him, "My little daughter is dying. Please come and put your hands on her so that she will be healed and live." So Jesus went with him, right? And then it talks about in verse 25, it talks about how, and a woman was there who had been subject to bleeding for 12 years. They talk about the woman with the issue of blood. She had suffered a great deal under the care of many doctors and had spent all she had. Yet instead of getting better, she grew worse. When she heard about Jesus, she came up behind him in the crowd and touched his cloak because she thought, if I just touch his clothes, I will be healed. Immediately her bleeding stopped and she felt in her body that she was freed from her suffering. At once Jesus realized that power had gone out from him. He turned around in the crowd and asked, "Who touched my clothes?" You see the people crowding against you, his disciples answered, "And yet you can ask, 'Who touched me?'" But Jesus kept looking around to see who had done it. Then the woman, knowing what had happened to her, came and fell at his feet, and trembling with fear, told him the whole truth. He said to her, "Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be freed from your suffering." Now, when you think about it, the guy, Jairus, he comes to Jesus first, and he's like, "Yo, my daughter's sick. Please come to my house." And Jesus obliges, right? And on their way to Jairus' house comes this woman who now takes the attention, from the desperation of Jairus. And I think whenever I read that story, I think to myself, somebody else getting blessed doesn't take away from your blessing.
Exactly.
Because when you think about it, the woman got healed. They had that interaction, her and Jesus. But Jesus still went to Jairus' house and healed the daughter, and the daughter was made whole.
Exactly.
So I think it speaks to what you just said.
100%. Everybody can get the blessings. Everybody can shine in a moment. I think it's important for us all to also understand that building each other, I think, will be able to grow a little bit more and shine a little bit more than if you are trying to do something all on your own, because you also won't be able to carry that all on your own. You know what I mean? I've got a tattoo here on my arm. Okay, well, you can't see it from the camera. But essentially it says, "A candle loses nothing by lighting another candle."
Sure.
Because it's a light at the end of the day. If you can light another candle, you're growing somebody else's light, but you can still shine in that same light.
Yeah. We don't see it that way.
Build each other.
I don't know why. Yeah, I like that. Build each other. Speaking of building each other, there is a mass, what is it? It's a mass protest happening next week, right? Is it the Friday?
Yes, on the 21st of November, Women for Change.
What's happening there?
All right, so I'm sure you've seen on social media, everybody has kind of turned their profile pictures into purple. They've been posting a lot of purple hearts. Some of the guys have also been posting themselves in purple outfits or whatever the case may be. It's just putting the purple up front to create a change and in solidarity for women who have been raped, abused, murdered in South Africa. They mentioned that every 2 hours a woman is buried.
Yeah. Sure.
A woman is buried, exactly. And majority of the time it's because of either murder or rape or sexual assault or whatever the case may be. And specifically on that date, everybody is coming together to provide, well, not necessarily provide, but like it's a stance for action, because the G20 summit is also coming up. So it's about creating silence ahead of the G20 summit to say, we're standing in solidarity for women. This is an important cause. If you as the G20 are coming together in South Africa, in Gauteng, also understand this is an epidemic that we're dealing with as women in South Africa. It needs to be tabled during this conference. And it's just raising awareness on that.
I hope people, and by people I mean men, because it's November, right? And right now there's a lot of topics and discussions around men's mental health, etc.
Yes.
I hope a lot of men, or some men, don't now think that this is taken away from them, because to your point earlier on, success we can all have success. So multiple things can coexist at the same time.
Exactly.
And I think also just thinking about how the planning of the G20, I mean, we started last year with the planning. One of the guys in my class, and he's at the forefront of the planning of the G20. So last year he was telling me about the planning, blah, 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 blah. And I think about it, I'm like, women have decided to go and protest at that particular time. It just shows how desperate the call is.
Exactly.
If you're going to do it and make it coincide, with the G20.
Exactly. Because it also is about a moment to say, we're not just making noise because it's Women's Month. We're not making noise because it is whatever month that it is. It's a necessity to say, these world leaders are coming together to have a conference about whatever they're chatting about. This also is an epidemic that needs to be tabled. It needs to be dealt with. It needs to be spoken about. As you're saying, yes, you can talk about Men's Month and mental health and what men are going through. By all means, I'm not shunning against that. And I don't think the Women for Change is trying to do that either. But we're also trying to then raise awareness to say, women are at the helm of what men are doing to us as a society. So just as much as men are going through their mental health issues, can they also deal with their mental health issues by also understanding that they don't have to then take it out on women? Because majority of the time, who is killing the women? It's the men.
Yeah. When did we get here, guys?
Hey, dude. The thing is, also, I don't even think it's a thing of when did we get here. If I have to be honest, I think a lot of things have been happening. They just haven't been publicized. They haven't had a camera on the issues. They haven't had a voice for them to shine their conversation. And I think now it's a lot more heightened because we have access to social media, to cameras, to make noise about these things. We have access to talk to each other in real time, as opposed to waiting for the news to report on something. And even then, the news would probably mention whatever they want to mention and keep it very brief in a way that makes sense for whoever is putting out that news blast. Whereas now, everything is happening in real time. And I think that's why it feels a little bit more heightened, because it's in our faces 24/7. For instance, with what's happening in the Palestine as well as in Sudan, we would not know about that information if it wasn't for social media.
That's
You
true.
understand? It would all be hidden behind what the media wants us to believe, what the media wants us to say. And that's why all these things have been propaganda in the past that we didn't understand. Only now, when we're hearing it point blank from the people who are involved, now we actually understand the severity of it. Yeah.
It's very interesting. Are you joining the protest next week?
I will try to. It just depends, because I might possibly be out of town. But if I am in Johannesburg, I will do my best to be there.
Brandon, are you going? I'm sorry, dude. Yeah, I'm gonna try and join. I am super busy, but I'm gonna try and join in whatever
I mean,
way.
it's an hour of our day. At the end of the day, we see how we can kind of maneuver it. It is for the entire day. I think the ladies are also trying to make sure that there is a lot of noise that is around it. Whether you are there in person or you post it on social media, as long as you show some sort of solidarity for the protest, I think it's important.
You remember that movie with Taraji P. Henson and Janae Monáe? It's an astronaut movie. I don't know if you know it.
Yes, where they're both calculators.
Yes.
And then but obviously set in the olden days. I forgot what the name of the movie is, but I love that movie. I've seen it like maybe 5 times.
Right?
Yes.
You know what that movie taught me? It taught me that society cannot and will not thrive without women.
Exactly.
When you think about it, like, it's the guys, the astronauts, yes, they went up to space.
Yeah.
But who made it possible?
The female calculators, the female engineers who were working, but then they didn't have a voice. They weren't allowed to have a voice because the men were taking, the celebration of whatever the work that they were doing. And it's like, okay, so she can do the work, but then she submits it to somebody else. That manager then takes it, and he's the one who's taking the praise. Is that fair? We've been dealing with that for centuries. Centuries.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy. And I always think about how I grew up, because I grew up in a female-led household. My mom and my dad were never married, right? So I grew up with my maternal side of the family. My late grandmother had just 4 daughters. The first grandchild was a girl, and then I came. So I had my grandmother, 4 daughters, and then the grandchild, so 6 women that actually raised me. So I've learned to, what's the word? To pay attention to the things that
Yes.
actually affect women.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you guys are our lifeline at the end of the day.
100%. And who's to say that you can't raise a nation or a community with just women? I think, if anything, we all kind of come together to help each other raise the community. And I think that those are some of the things that we also need to, shine a light on and be like, you know what, we are strong in different facets and different forms, whether it be career-based, whether it be home-based, whatever the case may be. A community can't survive without somebody actually, being at the forefront.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
I think let's get into, what is it? It's what's popping.
Yeah.
Couple of stories today. The first one actually broke my heart. So they're saying that 70% of South African children in grade 1 to 3 struggle to read or recognize letters. So South Africa's literacy crisis has once again taken center stage, and this time the numbers are more alarming than ever. A new Department of Basic Education study has revealed that 7 out of 10 children in grades 1 to 3 can't recognize letters or read words quickly enough to understand them. It paints a worrying picture of how children are struggling long before they reach the critical grade 4 milestone, where reading shifts from learning to read to reading to learn.
What is the cause for that? Do they mention that at all in the article?
I think they were talking about comprehension. That's the only thing I picked up.
I feel at a grassroots level, and maybe I'm saying this, from my own experience because I live with a 6-year-old. He is quite bright, I can admit to that. Like, generally speaking, I can actually see that he's a smart boy, right? So he picks up on things quite quickly. He learns very quickly. Like, there's a lot of big words that he says where I'm like, where did you even learn that? You know what I mean?
That?
He's out here telling me about, oh no, because I bought him a Lego set, for instance, this past weekend. And I'm like, okay, we need to put the car together. He goes, yeah, okay, auntie, this is where the Legos are. And then this bag is the accessories. I said, how do you know what an accessory is? But I think because he's very heightened and he's aware of his surroundings, he listens to a lot of words and he understands them. And I try to test him as well with regards to like learning how to read, because you can know all these words, but you know how to spell them or do you know how to read them. And I think the basics also comes in from the very beginning base of learning the alphabet, learning how to pronounce them, learning how to then read from first letter all the way through to the last letter.
Word, yeah.
Because essentially that's how you learn how to read, correct? These are all very fundamental building blocks to learning and to reading,
Right.
which should be tackled from pre-primary before it even gets to grade 1. So my concern with this article is twofold.
Okay.
Number one, the teachers. Because at the end of the day, you have to look at how they are teaching. What is their method of teaching? Because at the end of the day, a 5-year-old doesn't know anything. They're leaning on you for guidance. So if they can't read, who was supposed to teach them? How are they supposed to get to the next stage? Because that is the whole point of the fundamental phase of learning.
Yeah.
You go to crash so that you can learn the very basics, and then you can get to grade 1, grade 2, you start learning bigger words. You only start writing exams in grade 4. You can only get to grade 4 and start reading and writing properly because you've done the formative learning in grade 1 and 2. But you can't blame a 7-year-old for not learning that, because who are they taking direction from?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I think we need to look at the teachers. We need to look at the methods that they are teaching. I do worry about the South African education system because there's a lot of people who, there's not a lot of teachers. I think the passion for teaching has obviously lost a lot of people as well, because the payment structures are maybe not great enough and people aren't looking at going into education, and maybe the passion isn't there as well. A lot of people think, and those who do get into teaching, they're not passionate about it. They're doing it as a means to an end. And because they're not passionate about it, they're not then delivering the curriculum the correct way. You know what I mean? So there already becomes the first issue. The second issue, when I said it was twofold, I blame the parents, because the parents also need to get involved. You can't lean everything onto the teacher. As a child, as a parent, you also need to play a role in your child's advancements. You need to help them with homework, help them, give them learning material that they can grow from. What are they watching at home? What are they doing when they come home? Are you buying them books? Are you buying them things that they can play with, that they can learn with? Are you involved? Are you there day to day to say, okay, let's read this chapter, let's read this book? Because what are they exposed to when they're at home? Because also that exposure also then feeds to how quickly they're learning. Yeah. Because if they're sitting and watching cartoons the whole day, they're going to end up speaking like cartoons. And then you wonder why your child can't speak like a normal person. Oh. You know what I mean? And then they've got an accent that you don't understand. They're getting it from the TV because when it's easier for you to say, me, night TV, night remote, and then you're out of the room.
Oh, wow.
A child is 7 years old. Who do they get guidance from? Yeah. From adults.
It's a collaboration. Parents should look at it that way, that it's a collaboration between them and the teachers. I think what often happens is that parents dump the children,
yes,
on the teachers, and it's like, you figure it out. And it's like, but no. And then when the children come home, they are bombarded with technology,
yes,
and this Netflix and this and that and the other. My wife was telling me, and that's the question I wanted to ask you next, that how did you learn when you were growing up?
Do I remember? It was so long ago.
Because my wife, she was telling me about this thing called Poldy, right?
Okay.
She was like in it yesterday, just reminiscing, and she becomes like a child when she tells me all these things, right? So Poldy, think of it as like gamification.
Okay.
Right. So they create learning modules via a game platform or a gaming platform. So as a child, you can still play,
learn something, but you're playing.
Still learn. And I feel like we don't have like those things right now. But even if we do, parents are just like very aloof when it comes to those things. It's like, nah, whatever. Because they're so occupied with putting food on the table. And look, I do get that they have to work and so on and so forth, right? But these are the foundational phases for children. You are either making or breaking them right now. And I think, like I said earlier on, they oftentimes just like dump the kids or the teachers, and it's like, you must deal with it. You know what I mean? And then you're surprised when you don't connect with your child, when the child is hiding things, etc. And that's because there is no relationship. You guys are not conversing. You are not involved to say, infant, let me actually see your books. I never got that, growing up. Like, my mom never said, let me see your books. And you realize that then you get away with a lot of things. Sometimes you're even failing, but the parent is not aware, not because they don't care, but I think in their minds, they're like, I have to provide, and that's the first point of reference to say, how I'm taking care of you is by actually providing for you. So I think it's about parents collaborating with teachers. But I also wanted to ask you, do you think teachers nowadays know what they're doing? And is the vetting process criteria, do you think it's strong enough?
I don't, and that's why I said, I mentioned that portion of sometimes people get into education as a means to an end, more than it is about passion. Because when you're going into civil service, you need to be passionate about it, right? Whether you become a nurse or you become a policeman or you become a doctor or you become a teacher, these are all civil services, sure, right? Yes, fine, you go to school for them. Yes, you have to pay for them. I understand that. But at the end of the day, it is a service industry because you're serving the community. You're helping the community get better. If you're going into it with the wrong passion, you're not going to do it to your 100%. You're doing it just to pass so that you can get your salary at the end of the month, right? And I think that already is a point that we need to kind of recognize, to say who is actually in all of those positions. Because people complain about going to hospitals all the time because the nurses don't care. The nurses don't care because they don't want to be nurses. Sure. They're there because they need the money.
That's a scary thought, eh?
I'm being very serious.
So we've transitioned.
We've transitioned.
We're not about passion anymore.
We're not about passion anymore because cost of living is so high. People are getting into jobs because it makes. Why do you think we have so much corruption when it comes to our policemen and the for instance the JMPD? People talk about it so highly about I know you just cold drink and then you can get away with a ticket or whatever. It's so casual. Why do you think they're accepting it? Because they're not passionate about their job. They just want to get by, get their salary, earn a little something on the side because when you're going to give them a young cool drink on the road, and they keep it. They've made more money on the road than they have actually doing their job.
Right.
Do you understand?
That's wild.
They'll make more money taking that jojo as opposed to locking you up and doing the paperwork and putting you behind bars. Right? The same now goes for education, where people are now forced to go, well, ladies, or not necessarily ladies, because I mean men teach too, but like people are getting into education as well because they're not passionate about it. There is a small percentage that is still passionate. I'm not going to take it away 100%. From them. But I'm saying a lot of the issues that we're seeing is because people are getting to jobs because they just want the security of, I have an income coming in. Also, some of them maybe also do it for the school holidays because then they don't have to work for certain portions of the year. That's a real thing. Whether you want to admit it or not. Whole of December, you're off. You're rocking until January. What do you mean? That's a dream job. And you still get paid.
100%. I was about to say.
And you still get paid. What?
It's crazy.
So that's already the point of contention. That's the first thing. Vetting it, yes, I think you do have to have some sort of a qualification. So people will study it. But I think some people also, I don't know. It's also that whole thing of, are you passing well? Because when you become a doctor, you can't become a full-on doctor working at a proper hospital if you've just passed on 50%. At some point, you must go back and improve your grades, do something so that people... Because you've got people's lives in your hands.
So true.
Do you understand? You need to at least pass to the 80% or whatever the case is. Even in accounting or lawyers or whatever the case is. Yes, fine, you might get the bare minimum, but you're not going to get a real job as an accountant if you pass on 50. No one's going to trust you with their money.
Sure.
No one's going to trust you with their life if you're the lawyer. Are you going to really get me off if you are my lawyer and you've just gotten past? I'm not going to trust you. No. Why am I going to pay you?
No.
So why can't we do that for education?
That's interesting. That's so interesting. You know what they're doing in China in relation to influencer marketing? They have a new rule, and the new rule requires that influencers need to prove or need to have proven qualifications before commenting on topics like finance or health and so on and so forth.
Yes.
And I feel like that's something that we need to weave in. You know, maybe when you hire somebody, especially in the education sector, Bachayelo, listen, we're giving you a probation period, you know, because sometimes you just throw in people there because maybe you're understaffed.
Yes.
You know, there's no capacity, and you just throw people there and it's like, you'll learn on the job.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't want my child to be taught by somebody who's learning on the job.
Yeah.
You know, sure, like, give people grace, but I think if you do it so often, then you set the precedence to say, this is how we go about with things. And now you just hire people to learn on the job. And it's like, it's very, very dangerous.
Exactly.
These stats that we're reading right now, 70%.
That's too high. That's way too high. And honestly, like you're saying, I'm not mad at the parents, but I do want them to be a little bit more intentional. Parents need to be more intentional in taking their children into their hands, because at the end of the day, the kids didn't ask to be here. You are the one who brought them here. So you are responsible for the child being in this world. Yeah. You cannot dump the responsibility onto somebody else. Also, bear in mind, in classrooms, there's close to 30 kids in a class. At what point is one teacher going to highlight that your child is struggling? They're going to try their best to obviously manage everybody and keep everybody on par, but you're going to have the people who are disrupting, and maybe your kid is the quiet one who sits in a corner. Being the quiet one who sits in the corner is very dangerous, because that child might not be learning, but because they're not disrupting the class, you think, I know, that's how they learn. Do you know what I mean? Meanwhile, the person can't even say A, B, C, D. Yeah. And you as the parent need to also then check that, double check that. And if you as the parent can see, no, there's a deficiency here, you go back to the teacher and say, my child is sitting in a corner. They're not getting attention. How can we work together? How can we fix it? Not blame game here. I'm not saying blame the teacher, because you as as the parent must also get involved. But how do you work together? I think the synergy is also very important.
Yeah.
And I say this as well because I used to tutor when I was in varsity. So I tutored primary school and high school kids. I did maths, English, and Afrikaans. And I once had a grade 1 kid who was struggling as well with like the reading and comprehension. And we literally had to go back to the beginning and start again. And his distractions were always about his toys, and he wanted to play, and he was bored at the fact that he needed to sit with me for an hour. And I was like, bro, just get this hour out of the way. Best believe I want you to play. Sure. I want you to go and play with your toys. Just work with me for this 1 hour. And then we needed to go through everything from basics all the way to the end. But I appreciated the parent, because the parent understood that there's a gap that's happening very early with my child. Let me deal with it early on so that by the time he gets to matric, he's not struggling. And I was happy that at least at grade 1, we're dealing with this extra tuition, as opposed to only trying to deal with it 6 months before matric exams, when it's too late.
When it's too late, eh? It's too late. That's interesting. You've done everything.
Yeah, I told you, I've lived like 10 lives.
You really have. Can you just like do her thingy? Her thing is buzzing.
Oh,
It's starting
sorry.
to buzz. Yeah. Yeah, you've done everything. Let me just do this.
Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello, hello.
Yeah, that's fine.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, you've done everything. That's very interesting. But yeah, 7 out of 10, 70%.
That's scary. And I honestly think it's because parents are busy. You're right. They're focusing on trying to earn a living. But it's you have to get involved in your child's school. You have to get involved one way or another. And a child will appreciate it. You know, I was speaking to a friend of mine the other day. Growing up as black kids, you know, your parents would leave you at school, you play whatever sports, you tell them what time to pick you up, you come home. Your parents have never watched you play sports, but there you are being class captain, you are the team captain, you've done it all. But your parents have never experienced you scoring that try, scoring that winning goal, being the head of the team. Because unfortunately, it's also been a cycle that we've kind of grown into where our parents will just fetch us whenever we get there. Now, she says she's gotten so involved because her son, she's realized, is actually a really good swimmer, to the point where she's involved him into like club swimming and stuff like that. He can be so good that if she invests a lot into him, he could potentially go to the Olympics. That's how great he is. Yeah. But if she didn't take the time to actually sit back and be like, actually, people are telling me I need to come and watch my child. Let me go and see what it, because she wasn't watching his swimming meets until one of the parents called her to be like, hey, wena.
Calm.
Michael Phelps more when you're not here. Do you know what I mean? But now that she's gone to some of the meets, she's actually taken the initiative to say, let me sign him up for clubs and do all this extra stuff. Just that initiative to then say, let me wake up on a Saturday morning. I know it's tough, 6 a.m., but my child is going to benefit by me waking up at that time.
It's so important what you're saying, because then I get to appreciate what my dad and my stepmom did for my younger brother. Who's now in America, who got scouted for basketball.
Look at that.
You know what I mean? They actually paid attention.
Yeah.
And it was a thing, y'all, at Thabang, you must take him every time to these tournaments, or they would take him to the tournaments. And yes, it gets to a point where it's frustrating, because it's like, dude, when are you always attending these things? When do you take a break, right? But in hindsight, when you think about it, it's like, now it's paid off.
Yeah.
He's in America right now, and the world is literally his oyster.
Exactly.
And that came from the parents paying attention.
100%.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's November. I'm seeing a lot of Black Friday ads.
Hey. You know, they always try to swindle us. It's swindle season.
Are you emotional when it comes to...
No.
Are you an emotional spender?
No, I'm not that type of person. Also, I think I've grown to be very frugal about my money. Also, remember, I'm a finance person. So for me, I'm very meticulous about how I spend my money. because that's how I grew up. That's how my brain works, unfortunately. So sometimes I might come off looking like I'm a little bit stingy. No, but at the end of the month, at least I know where my money's gone, and it's gone to things that make sense. It's not to say that I won't buy into a sale. If the sale makes sense to me and what I'm buying makes sense to me, by all means I'll get involved. But I'm not going to like just buy J because, oh my gosh, it's a Black Friday sale. No. Do I need that particular item? Am I going to use that particular item? Okay, cool. Am I getting it at a discount? What does it normally charge? Okay, cool. This is the cost. This is how much I'm saving. Great. Let's go. But I'm not going to buy just for the sake of buying.
I really think it's just rhetoric.
And also you find a lot of shops at this point, maybe in the past month, maybe say October, they'll mark up the prices. And then by the time it's November, they basically bring it back down to the normal price. So it looks like it's a sale to you because, oh, last month this thing was 500 Rand. Now it's 300 or 200. No, in August it was 200 Rand.
As I say, it's language. It's all of this is rhetoric.
Yes.
You know, it's influence, it's persuasion, and they use language to get people to do whatever it is that they want. So 30 billion in Black Friday sales, but South Africans are no longer buying the hype. So like I said, we're gearing for another record-breaking Black Friday. But this year, the real story is not the sales, it's the shift in shopper psychology. Despite spending over 30 billion across the country last year. 30 billion.
That's a lot of money. I need a nimali. You guys are scamming. There's no way. It's 30 billion.
30? Despite despite spending over 30 billion across the country last year, consumers are growing wary of the hype, the gimmicks, and the endless limited time offers. Guys, this number doesn't make sense. 30 billion.
That's a lot of money.
A population, 64 million. And within that, you have youth unemployment at what, 60%, 60-something percent.
But the thing is, you're also thinking about it statistically instead of thinking about it realistically. There's a lot of scammers on the streets that we see every weekend. Have you ever been to, okay, well, I take it, obviously, because you're not somebody who goes out that often. And I think I shocked one of my friends this past weekend because I took her out to the club. It was her birthday. And it was a Sunday. And she was just like...
Wait. Where have I ever been where? Why are you confiding me?
No. I'm not confiding you. I'm just saying it's not your every weekend
but ask
situation.
the question.
Okay. Do you go to the club and blow money like the scammers do on a Sunday?
No, I don't.
Exactly. So back to what I was saying. I'm trying to save you here. When you want to include yourself with the scammers, stop it. So Sunday night, took her out to the club. She was just like, this place is full of nightlife people. Where do they get the money? Are they not waking up tomorrow? She's a 9-to-5 person, obviously, but she wanted to celebrate because it was her birthday. And I was like, my sister, every week, every club that you go to, every venue that you go to, people are spending their money. And you ask yourself, the bottles are popping, the champagne is moving, the sparkles are sparkling, everybody's having a good time. And if you are a person in that space, you understand that there's a lot of money being spent in one night. And they do that every day of the weekend. Now you're going to come here and ask me, 30 billion, where do you guys get the money from? Do you know how much clubs make in a month? It's a lot of money, in the millions. That's in 1 month. So if people are spending that amount of money in the club on champagne, something that they not even gonna remember the next day, by all means they're going to buy items as well that they can keep at home.
Sure. 30 billion is a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. Like I said, it's rhetoric. And people have to wake up.
I also think, especially with regards to the online spending, it's that whole medium of not necessarily needing to leave your house. I know a lot. Yes, I know a lot of people in my life who, and I'm one of them if I have to be honest. However, I'm not as excessive as them. Everything is online shopping. Sure. They don't want to leave the house. Personally, I hate the mall. I will avoid the mall as much as I possibly can. If I have to go, I will go because I need to get maybe 3 or 4 items. Then I'll say, okay, cool, killing 5 birds with one stone. Let's go to the mall. But if I can avoid the mall and I can order something online, best believe it, I'll do it. And it's also convenience because now it's coming to your door. I don't have to leave. What do you mean? I can buy all of these things and nobody will judge me for buying them? They will just arrive in a box? What? I'm buying all of them. Come on. What? It makes so much sense. It's my money. Who's stopping me from spending my money?
Yeah.
And I can buy whatever I want and no one's going to judge me because I'm opening that box in my house. I'm not there with the till where the till lady's looking at me like, hey, oh, you're buying lingerie for who? Why are you judging me about my things? I'm buying what I want for myself. Oh, I'm buying these funny things. I'm buying my funny things for me. Whether it's makeup, whether it's hair,
she's talking about
whether
Timu and Shein.
Yes, of course. And I've also got a cart that's open there. If anybody wants to clear it for me, please call me. Because I ain't got money right now. Somebody's got to clear my Shein card. But anyway, it's fast fashion. It's accessibility, and it's also easier for people to buy those things because they're also cheaper.
Yeah.
So if you were to buy on a lot of these Chinese platforms, you will find that you'll get the same quality that you would get inside the mall, but it's just a lot cheaper for you to buy it online, and you receive it as and when you get it, and you know you'll probably buy way more for the same amount of money that you would spend on one item.
Yeah.
You'll probably get 3 or 4 items for the same amount of money. You know, the only offset on it is that with the online shopping, obviously you have to wait for delivery, whereas you go to the mall, you get it immediately.
about to say.
So it just depends on how quickly you need it. But if you've got the patience to wait, you can buy whatever you want, my baby.
I'm the type of person who, if I buy something, I want it now. I'm not going to wait.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with online shopping.
So I even saw the other day on Temu, you can buy an entire house, a container house where you can pack it. They basically pack it up for you. You have to build it yourself, but essentially it's a container that's put together, and you can basically buy a container house on Temu and they'll deliver it for you.
A container house?
I'm telling you, I'll even show you the link. Let me find it. Give me a second.
A container house?
I'm telling you. There was a point where this thing was trending and I was like, aye.
Oh, Brandon, you're shaking your head. Are you familiar with this? You've seen it before?
Yes, yeah, here you go. Container house. Nazo. You can basically live in a makeshift house that you've bought.
Like it's an actual house?
Yeah, but
it's not like a doll house or a dog house?
No,
like that.
You're buying an entire house. And you can buy certain portions that you can build, like panels and things like that.
That is so strange. Oh, wow. How much is it?
No, these are obviously this is where you can just buy the panels. But then there's different ones where you can actually buy items to build your house together. There was one where it was selling the entire house. So you buy all the options, all the parts of the house, and then you basically just have to build it. So they'll deliver it to you, and then...
Yeah.
Welcome to 2025. And then you ask yourself why people are spending 30 billion. It's because this is the accessibility that you have.
It's so crazy.
Why must I go to the mall and
hear you.
spend 3 times the price? Because they need to pay for rent. They need to pay for staff costs. They need to pay electricity. They need to pay for water. They need to pay for all these expenses. So it's going to be 3 times more expensive at the mall. Online, the only expense they have is delivery. And you're still paying for that delivery anyway.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, my wife always has deliveries.
Yeah. She doesn't know. She doesn't want you to know what they are. Just shh. When my sister keep ordering, he doesn't have to know.
That's wild. Dude, as somebody who's in finance, right, with a finance background, what would you say is the psychology to financial discipline?
It's a lot of things. I think financial discipline comes in firstly on the type of person that you are. Because if you are a spender, you are a spender. You know, you need to decide what's important to you and what's not important to you. I don't think there's an issue with spending on nice things because you can't work so hard and not be able to spoil yourself now and again. Because otherwise, what are you doing? You're just in the rat race unnecessarily, you know? But I think being able to be diligent with your money all comes in with the advice that you're getting from possibly a financial advisor or your banker, or even for yourself, where sometimes you don't even know where to spend your money. Instead of you blowing it, make the decision for yourself. What legacy are you leaving behind? Who do you want to leave certain things to? What are you spending your money on? Are you building yourself as a person? Those are all inherent decisions as a person to say, am I going to be responsible with my money? Yes. Okay, cool. Let's spend my money here. Let me get a financial advisor. That advisor will also tell you to go and have a portion of your money for you to enjoy on the weekend.
100%.
Because you cannot mentally, as a human being, blow all your money on, well, not necessarily blow, but like spend all your money on like policies and expenses, and then on the weekend comes and you're depressed and you're staying in your apartment.
Yeah.
And then you've got no friends because you don't know how to go out because you don't have money to spend. You know what I mean? Give yourself that leeway to be able to do that so you can enjoy your life. You also feel like your job is actually paying for something, not only just your expenses. So if you don't understand financial products, I think it's important to get a financial planner. They can at least help you manage the things and to place your money in the correct ways, where some stuff is being invested, other money is going into insurances, and then you've also got a portion that you can drink on the weekend. I think it's very important, that thing. You know when that coach said that thing, I can't remember the coach, can't remember his name, but when he said, go and buy those sneakers, spend that money, do it for your mental health. It's an important thing. Everybody sat there and they laughed at him and they thought, oh, he's telling everybody to blow their money. No, he's actually very right. Go and buy those shoes. They need to give you that confidence for you to walk into that meeting the next day.
And to see what I'm doing.
And to see how you're spending your money, how to gain your confidence, how to feel like a better person, to also feel like you're not working just to pay your debts. At some point, you also need to feel good about yourself. Your confidence is going to come back in because, oh, today you spoiled yourself. Maybe spoiling yourself is buying yourself an ice cream, and that's fine. Maybe that's all your self-esteem needs in that point in time. Maybe you need a new jacket for you to go into a meeting so that your appearance is great for you to land that deal. It's an important factor of the cycle of life. You cannot live your life paying your bills only. I'm not saying don't pay your bills, relax. I'm saying that can't be the only thing that you're doing. Save a portion of it for at least for yourself.
Yeah.
Because also that also comes in with mental health, where some men are suffering now because they're sitting back thinking, all I do is work because I'm trying to survive. I'm trying to make sure everything is paid for. Okay, cool. Pay for everything. But also take a holiday once a year.
100%.
People are not taking holidays. People are not going away. Even if it's a short lived, go to Clarence for 2 days. Go to Potchefstroom for one night. Do something. There's so much to offer in South Africa that you could go and explore. But people are not seeing it because they think they don't deserve it.
Yeah.
You know?
I think the psychology to financial discipline, I think it's decreasing desire. I think oftentimes, and that's why I asked you earlier on, are you an emotional spender? And you said no.
No, I won't lie. I'm cheap. But I am cognizant that I need to make myself happy.
Yes.
So sometimes emotionally, I'll also say to myself, actually, screw it. I want to buy in that moment in time, I'll say, okay, I want to buy this thing. I'll deal with it later. I've done that once or twice. I just don't do it often.
I hear you.
Yes.
And it goes back to what you're saying. It's towing the line.
Yes.
Right. Because I remember, like, prior to getting married and proposing to my wife, etc. So I'm a big saver, right? I don't know how I even got into like a saving culture because nobody taught me how to do that. I just figured it out. But prior to proposing and all of that, I had saved close to 200,000.
Wow.
Right. And then obviously you start to make certain decisions because you think, hey, let me get married, let me go to school, let me open the studio, blah, blah, blah. And it takes away from that. And it's like only now because, I finished paying school and we're done with the wedding and I got a lot of the resources that I need for this place. It's only now that I'm starting to breathe again and breathe again and breathe again. But there are moments where emotion will want to kick in to say, hey, if it's like you've been going through it, right? Go do something nice for you, for yourself. But then I'm like, no, not now. Let me just chill. Let me get back into that culture that I was used to. And then after a while, I can start treating myself. And that's why I never go away in December. We always go away in January because I know for a fact, also I'm quite generous. If I do go out or if we do go out in December, it's just going to be very problematic because sometimes I hype myself up and I'm like, you know what? You mean the money spend. I literally say stuff like that sometimes, which I think it's dumb. And then just spend so much money and it's like, why would you do something like that? So I think it's just towing the line and understanding that sometimes you have to decrease desire because oftentimes you buy things and you're like, I didn't need this. There's what's that DJI thing there? I have it somewhere there. I bought that thing because I saw it on social media. And I'm like, let me buy that thing. But can I tell you, I never use that thing.
I have the very same thing and it's sitting gathering dust in my drawer. And it's not to say that I don't want to use it. I just don't know how. Maybe I also need to take the time to like get a YouTube
Brandon
tutorial.
must show you.
Yeah,
I'll
Brandon.
show you.
Yeah, please. Because also, hey, I won't lie. Like sometimes I want to take a lot of content for myself, but I don't know how to set it up. You know what I mean? So maybe I need a quick course.
What type of content?
Because obviously, like that thing is made for your cell phone, right? So you kind of, it's like a holder or whatever. So for me, it's like maybe content while I'm DJing, or maybe while I'm traveling, or maybe when I'm on the road, when I'm with friends. Half the time, I'm like, I don't know how to use this thing properly. Maybe I don't know how to use it to its full extent, and I've paid for it, and I'm like, it's just sitting there, and I would love to use it.
There's the DJI camera, the Cosmo Pocket.
The little one.
That one.
No, I don't have. That one looks really dope.
Yeah.
That one, I'm like, hey, when the coins comes together, maybe I might just.
And like the full package is like 17,000.
Imagine.
And then I think if you just get the standard one, it's about 12,000.
Yeah.
And I was eyeing it. I was like, then I'm like, no, I'm tired of spending money. It's fine.
On cameras.
Yeah, no, I'm fine. But it's a dope one. And because I thought you wanted to like shoot just general content. I was going to say to you, why don't you just come and shoot here?
No, not necessarily here. I bought it specifically because I'm on the road all the time.
Makes
so
sense.
I can set it up while I'm playing, or I can set it up in different places that I'm in, whether I'm going to events or whatever the case is. Yes.
And I see how that could work while you're DJing and traveling, etc.
Yeah.
Interesting. The psychology of money. It's very interesting how emotion takes over
100%.
sometimes. And I've learned to recognize when I'm emotional and not to entertain myself.
You have to at least once.
No, definitely.
Not every day. Not every day, because then you're going to be broke. However, but at least every month or 3 months.
I like to spoil my wife. You know? I think I get pleasure in that.
There you go.
My mom, etc. Yeah. Me, maybe once in a while, I'm like, let me go get that nice sneaker or that nice watch or whatever the case may be.
Exactly. You know?
Yeah. So we were speaking yesterday, right? And you mentioned Diary of a CEO.
Yes.
And so last night when I was working, I then listened to an episode, and I think his name is Stephen, right? He was interviewing Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, okay. I'll check that out. I haven't seen it.
It was so cool. And he just released a book recently, Matthew, that is. I think it's titled Poems. Let me just see. It's titled Poems and Prayers by Matthew McConaughey. Right? I have the PDF, so I can share it with you.
Yeah.
And when they were like ending the episode, Stephen was talking about how there's so many options and temptations out there. And what I gathered from that, just contextualizing what he was saying, I then put the sentence together that we live in a generation with endless choices, right? Careers, relationships, lifestyles, identities, entertainment, escapes. And that while choice is freedom, it can also be a trap. More options don't always mean better outcomes.
Yeah.
Sometimes more options just mean more confusion, more distraction, and more second guessing, right? And I thought to myself, with everything available to us, what makes resisting like the options and the temptation, right, that are out there, what makes resistance, family, and faith still worth prioritizing in this day and age?
That's quite interesting. I don't know. I think it all boils down to choice of person here, if I have to be honest. I think that person, because we have so many choices, you also need to decide what's important for you. There's obviously the saying quantity over quality or quality over quantity exists for a reason. We have a lot of options. Everybody knows that because we live in this world where everything is just readily available. So you decide as a human being to then say, okay, what is a necessity for me? What do I need to get by? How have I grown myself to a position where I have access to these things? And what do I want to buy and what do I not want to buy? The resistance to it, I think, also boils down to those necessities. Is your family that important to you? Yes, it is. Okay, cool. So let's make sure that we've got a house, that we've got water, we've got electricity, we've got food on the table. Those are basic necessities, just like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? Then you ask yourself, okay, cool, what else is a necessity for me to live on? Then you only get to self-actualization later on in the hierarchy of
Yeah.
needs. You understand? So I think as a well-grounded human being, you would look at those necessities first before you then say, okay, cool, I'm willing to then go to the top and say, okay, well, I've earned enough this month. I can afford to, I don't know, go on holiday and, backpack through Europe for 2 months or whatever, however much money you're making. But I say that also insisting that there are some people who do not prioritize their families. They do exist. We must not act like they don't.
Wow.
We can all be airy fairy and act like kumnandi, like mhlabeni, and
100%.
people are thinking like adults. No, there's a lot of adults who are not thinking about their families. They're making families because it's nice to make a family. It's nice to make babies. But then now the responsibility of looking after those babies is a different conversation. Because then they're like, I don't have money. Leave them with the grandparents or leave them with the mother or leave them with whoever. And those people don't have the resistance that we talk about. Do you know what I mean? So it all boils down to the personality of the person that you're talking about and how they want to view their finances. What is important for them to spend it on? Is it more important for them to get 10 rand to go to the tavern and buy beer? Or is it more important for the 10 rand to buy bread?
That's interesting. Sure. I think these things are worth prioritizing because these are things that ground me at the end of the day. Whenever I would chase the many options and the many temptations, I would feel like a slave. And I remember this one particular time, and not that there's anything wrong with drinking. There's nothing wrong with drinking.
Please, guys, don't act like it's not nice. But within reason, please, within reason, responsibility first.
But one time we went out and it was not even anything hectic, right? Played paddle, a couple of friends, my wife and I as well. And then we decided let's go have like dinner afterwards. And then that turned into something where now we bought drinks and it was nice. Like I said, nothing hectic. And I remember going to sleep. So it's before like my wife and I got married. When we did spend the night together, because remember I said a couple of episodes ago that we were waiting to get married, right? Before we engaged in sexual activity. So whenever we would spend the night together, she would be in the one bedroom and I would be in the other bedroom. And I remember that day we spent the night at her place and woke up the next morning and I was just in my thoughts. I couldn't understand why, like, is it post-alcohol depression or
Anxiety.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so I woke up and I just sat down and I got to think and also listen to, the Holy Spirit, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I woke up and I went to her bedroom and I stood by the door, right? And so I said to her, babe, I need to leave. I need to go to my place. She looked at me like, what's wrong? And I'm like, nah, nothing's wrong. Because that's what we do, men, right? Nah, nothing's wrong. But then she was persistent. Like, what's wrong? And I said to her, I just had like Holy Spirit was speaking to me to say, whatever this is that you've been doing, shall we dab it drinking? I don't want you to do it because it's not for you. It takes away more than it actually gives, you know. And I thought about it, so I told her that, and very supportive, you know, to say, yeah, babe, but if this is what the Holy Spirit is telling you, maybe listen to it, you know, don't do the opposite, blah, 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 blah. And I remember just like leaving alcohol, right? Just left it. And when I drank alcohol, it was, I think, the day of my wedding. And that feeling came. You know, it would come, like that feeling would come back, right? And so when I think about this question, with everything available to us, what makes resistance, family, and faith still worth prioritizing? I think for me, they are worth prioritizing because they ground us. And I've had moments where I felt like a slave. And it's moments where, for instance, I tried to be perfect to the people around me, to myself, and that feeling was terrible. It's like, why do I have to be perfect as a person? You know, I don't like this, right? And I think the same was with when I would drink alcohol, whatever that feeling was. I don't know how to describe it. And so I then think it's worth prioritizing because it makes me feel the opposite of this terrible feeling that I would feel of being a slave and yeah,
Oh wow.
that's my 2 cents.
That's crazy. And then how are you growing from it?
Growing from what?
From that feeling, you know what I mean? Because obviously you felt a certain way in the beginning and it's kind of changed you. Do you think it's going to give you a different, outlook on things a little bit later?
Perhaps, probably. Um, I'm exposing people here.
You don't have to.
Listen, I think the Holy Spirit is a gift from God,
Yeah.
right? And I've had moments where I had promptings and I did not follow them. And I lived to regret, you know, and you sit down and you're like, oh, why did I not listen to this sixth sense, if you want to
Yes.
call it, the Holy Spirit? So I think for me, it's just answering your question going forward. If I do stick to it, I think it's something that will definitely empower me, definitely grow me.
Yeah.
And sometimes it grows me, though I don't want to grow. Like, yo, can I just drink with everybody? You know
Can I
what
just
mean?
hang out?
Yeah. But I mean, I won't always get it right. That's what I always say. I won't always get it right, and I think that is what makes resistance worth prioritizing. When we were like abstaining, etc., there were moments when, like, I'd look at my wife, I'm like, yo, babe, like, yo, like, yo, nyaka, jo.
Yeah.
You know, but you think about the bigger picture, and you're like, you know, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Let's wait. Again, don't listen to me and think you have to be this perfect person
Yeah.
and think that you won't falter. You know, you will falter. But I think it's choosing that thing,
Yeah.
choosing the resistance, choosing the faith, choosing the family, even if it's like difficult sometimes, because I've learned that these are things that ground us. And I've also learned from my relationship with my grandmother, my late grandmother, that when we do what we love and when we love what we do and when we're surrounded by love, we actually operate at our highest,
Yeah.
you know. And for me, I've seen when I'm in like the space of faith, when I'm in the space of family, how I am and how I come alive. And that's why I think it's worth prioritizing. I lead a group of people. I have a Bible study every Wednesday
Okay.
at home. And there's about 15 of us, 16 of us. And this is something that we have every single Wednesday of the year. You know, and one of the guys, Thabang, he's an influencer. And you know how the entertainment industry is, right? He's literally done a 180.
Nice.
Maybe not a 180, but there's been a lot of change. And I see how now he's still doing his thing, because people think when now you are in faith, you must change yourself. You know, if I was a DJ, because I'm in faith, I must not be a DJ anymore. No. I think it's about values and all of that. And I look at his life right now, and it's like, yo, he's so changed. He's such a different person. Even the decisions that he's making in terms of business, the relationships that he's building, you know, you can tell that there's a higher power, you know, that is leading and guiding him. So when I listen to such stories, and there are other people as well within my Bible study group, when I just like listen to these stories, I'm like, all of this is worth it.
It is. Especially, again, I think coming full circle to our initial conversation we had in the beginning, it's also just about growth and growing and building each other. And that, I think, is also a very important portion of what you are building with your Bible study, is being able to kind of build each other up and help each other through that resistance of wanting to be able to do things that wouldn't necessarily break you as such, but maybe are not good for you at that moment in time. Do you know what I mean? Not good for you at that moment in time, and being able to support each other in the moments of need.
Yeah, definitely. Dude, we've been talking for an hour and 6 minutes. It doesn't even feel like that. But so I submit my research, right?
Yeah.
On the 24th. She did dare me to have like a shot.
Yes.
We'll see if that will happen.
We're waiting for Sechaba to come back, and then we're going to go on a pub crawl. I've been wanting to go on a pub crawl the whole year.
What's a pub crawl?
A pub crawl is the best thing ever. You basically go on a strip where there's a lot of bars.
Yeah.
And then you go from one place, you have one drink, you go to the next one, you have another drink, you go to the next one.
Oh, it's a club hopping.
Club hopping, but then it's not really club hopping, because you'd rather want to go to a bar. It's easier to get in and out. Whereas you're paying entrance at a club, it's a lot of stories. So you would rather go to like maybe like 7th Ave in Parkhurst or something like that. Go from one to the next, to the next, to the next. Shot, drink, until the end of the night. And then we Uber home.
Can I tell you a quick story? The last time I did that was probably in 2015.
Yes, when we went to school.
In Cape Town, Long Street. And you know what ended up happening? I ended up fighting with 7 guys.
Why?
Because they were harassing one of my sister's friends. And I went there and I said, this is not cool, stop it. And they left. Came back after an hour. And the guy is like, yo, what were you saying? What's our vote? You know, he called other people. Like, what were you saying, right? So he's talking there. And then I slapped him. So I slapped him, and we upstairs. Slapped him. Yo, and I'm not proud of this, guys. Slapped him, and then the bouncer literally came for me, tried to punch me, then I dodged. And then I ran downstairs, and yeah, we ended up fighting. Escaped into like a taxi, meet a cab.
But you would have defended your sister's friend regardless of the alcohol.
I don't want to be a simpy win. Hey.
I hear you.
Yeah, no.
I hear you. But we'll do it very safely. We'll
100%.
do it within reason, and we'll make sure that there's no fights on the nights. All we're doing is celebrating. We're allowed to celebrate at least once a year.
Definitely.
And this is a cause for celebration.
100%. Please close for us.
Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for subscribing. We still need to get our excursion from Thabang. He keeps running away from it every time we mention what he needs to do. But maybe I'm going to wait for Sechaba to come back, and then we'll decide on what we force him to do, because we also forced Sechaba to go and get a wax. So that'll be coming very soon. But thank you for joining us. Please like, subscribe, comment, share, and let us know what you like, what you don't like about the podcast. And we'll see you next week.
Adios, amigos. Cheers.